Today, I'm going to show you how to find your Goldilocks zone for stress. That place between too little and too much, where challenge becomes growth, not burnout. I call it the law of stress thresholds, the Goldilocks principle. Not too much, not too little, just right. According to the Yerkes-Dodson law, performance, focus, and mood follow a bell-shaped curve. Too little stress, you feel flat, unmotivated, maybe even depressed. Too much, you feel overwhelmed, anxious, and flooded. But right in the middle, the Goldilocks zone, you feel sharp and alive and capable. Some even call it the flow state. That's your challenge zone, your growth zone. And your goal isn't to avoid stress altogether. It's to learn how to live skillfully within the Goldilocks zone. One of the most important factors that leads to higher stress thresholds, literally meaning that I can feel less stressed when experiencing higher amounts and intensities of stress, actually has nothing to do with the stress itself, but rather how we regard our stress. In The Upside of Stress, psychologist Kelly McGonigal tells a story about students who were taught one simple reframe. When your heart races or your palms sweat before a test or something like that, tell yourself, my body is getting me ready. That one shift from stress is bad to stress is preparing me actually changed their physiology. Their blood vessels stayed more relaxed. They performed better. They recovered faster. And over time, developed a higher stress tolerance. In other words, when you regard your stress as for you, not against you, you increase your stress threshold. Think of raising kids. Yes, they create stress, sleepless nights, endless questions, noise, and chaos. But you wouldn't wish them away. That kind of stress is meaningful. It stretches you toward love and patience and purpose. That's eustress, or good stress, the kind that grows us. When we regard it as such, we move our stress threshold and feel less stress without actually moving or removing any stress. So here's the practice. There are two major ways both to raise your stress threshold and stay inside your growth zone or Goldilocks zone. And stay tuned for a bonus paradox insight. It may change the way you think about stress forever. First, regard your stress positively. Right now, think of one stressor that matters deeply. Your work, your kids, a project you're working on, your own healing. Say quietly, this stress is proof that this matters to me. Or, this is preparing me to take on what matters most to me. When you see stress as meaningful effort, your body shifts from defense mode to growth mode. You build endurance instead of depletion. And over time, your sweet spot expands. Second, know your limits and make imaginary stress real. Now, the second half of the law, you can't stay in the Goldilocks zone if you keep taking on every single stress that's presented to you. So start distinguishing real stress from imaginary stress. Real stress is what's in front of you. A deadline, a crying child, a physical task. Imaginary stress, however, lives in your head. Worries about what might happen, rehearsing the worst case scenario. Imaginary stress tends to fill up a lot of space in life. So what's the fix? It seems counterintuitive, but it actually works. Turn imaginary stress into real stress, meaning real action. If you're worried about a bill, open it and make a plan. If you're anxious about a conversation, write the text draft. Each time you convert imagined stress into action, you tell your brain, I'm capable, I have agency. That shrinks anxiety and frees energy for real life. The other thing you have to do to stay in the Goldilocks zone is to set limits around stress that feel like too much to you. Prioritize, simplify, or even eliminate. If it's not urgent or important, eliminate it. If it's urgent or important, break it down into the next best thing. Write it down and focus your attention on that one task. So here's the bonus insight. Do hard things on purpose. This is sort of a bonus paradox. You can only find your true stress threshold by doing things you haven't yet done. Growth always starts on the edge of comfort, the edge of enough. Lift slightly more than you did yesterday. Take the small, calculated risk. Face the tension. Then rest and recalibrate and adjust appropriately. That's how we grow stronger stress muscles and learn the exact weight we can actually carry. If you want more mental health principles and practices like this, like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. What's the biggest stress you want to learn to see differently? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to help you find your edge of enough.